So these mods can be found on the marketplace. They are for sale. You get the initial ones for free. That's one. The main thing with these ones are their one-time use. That means every time, either on an alt or when you gear up or change from like a regular set to elite set or purple set, whatever, you would have to basically pay and reslot these mods each time. There's no sort of recovery kit. I would imagine that becoming the future, because that'd be another way to basically monetize it. And we already have a recovery kit asset in the game already. So these mods, you get 5 of them they're essentially $1 each. You get 5 for $5 or $4.50 Daybreak Cash with your membership discount. So these ones, you do get the initial free ones. So going into it here, they are account bound as well. So that means you could trade them to your alts, but you'd essentially still have to keep buying them. Now these initial ones, actually let's test it here. Because obviously the initial ones are account bound, but let's see if these upgrade ones are being able to purchase. Let me just find ones that I can guess here. Probably going to be, we'll just buy these ones. So the ones you can purchase, you can see there the difference is cannot trade across platforms. That means they would be tradable. So that means you could put this on the broker. Let's just kind of quickly see here. Just to confirm. And to see if they have a new category or where they're present on the marketplace. So cannot trade across platform. If you don't already know, that will be that that if I list these, you can't purchase them on PS. Only PC players will be able to see it. Vice versa. If you list this as a PS player, only PS players to be able to see it. But at least the ones you can purchase, you can trade on the broker and between players. That means that's another way to increase the economy in the game. But these initial ones you get for free are only going to be account bound. So let's take a look here at my initial reactions. For one, these are ridiculous. So the tactical mods needed an update for a very long time. I mean, you got the generic supercharged head mods. You got the generic like blast adapter. Excuse my gear here. I haven't actually played this episode on the US server, so everything's not completely slotted. Extended supercharge or Hearty if you're going to be a tank. Back mod was you had some accelerated ones. Foot mod you always did Tumbling Master. So you did have some different categories there. So going into it here, so Ultimate Blast Adapter mod. So what the Blast Adapter mod here. That confirms when you actually consume it, it slots automatically into the gear. But so Ultimate Weapon Blast, so weapon attacks cause an explosion damage up to 9 additional targets and a 7.5 meter radius for 13% of your precision. So if we look at what the previous blast adapter was, let me just pull it up here. I do have them slotted here, don't I? I guess I don't actually have. Oh yeah, they're changed to purple. Sorry, that's why I didn't see them before. So if we pulled up blast adapter before, weapon attacks blast your target and 5 other nearby enemies for additional damage. It did not scale with any sort of precision. It was basically just extra bonus damage. Now it's actually going to scale with your precision for 13% of it. So and then 9 additional targets. So you got. I'll obviously in my next video I'll have that more as a testing. But we could be able to see there how it'll scale. So we have the head mod. So grants 15% supercharge back to you when it's supercharged. So typically with the head mods, if it was a 5,000 supercharge, you get 5%. If it was a 10,000 supercharge, you get 10%. So now you just get a flat 15% supercharge back, no matter what supercharge that you use. There's no indication that it's going to be restricted for a 2,500, a 5,000, or 10,000. So for the neck mods we used before, we had escalated might and relentless precision. So depending on your counter, you'd have a small increase in might or a small increase in prec. Now they've combined it. So that's one mod, a combination of escalated might and relentless precision. So increase might by 25% and precision by 30% for 4 seconds once you attain a hit counter above 25. And then in precision, there's no issue maintaining or above 25. You got a 60-second cooldown. So the main difference here is that you obviously have cooldowns now. Like say Blast Adapter 4, still 20 seconds, and the new one's 20 seconds. Relentless Precision, you basically always had it continually active as long as you had that hit counter and it didn't drop. Now it's going to be a 60-second cooldown. So we have ultimate accelerated back mod. So using a shield or a supercharge generator. So superpowers have a 25% chance to reset the cooldowns of your shield and supercharge generator superpowers. So that means essentially you got a manacles proc. So basically manacles was when you use a shield, you have a chance to basically reset the cooldown on the specific shields. Now it's any shield. So it's not a specific list like Manacles was. Manacles covered almost all of them, but not every single one. Now you've got every single shield to be covered, or a supercharge generator to reset that, and then increase your supercharge, which then you combine it with like Black Adam and other allies. So once again, like just a massive upgrade over what you already had before. And back mods, the really only one you did was have accelerated mods, which reduced the cooldown by 10%. But even then, there's not too many back mods. Maybe like Relentless. Or accelerated, like say Berserk, if you're doing like a full rage build. But really, there's not too many back mods that was really that beneficial. And now we have a massive one that covers not only shields, if you're a tank or solo player, but supercharge generator powers, which covers controllers and healers as well. So we have the chest mod, which is increase your health by 15%. So if we pull up the Hearty one before, we know that's going to be specifically 5%. So we go from a 5% jump as a green mod now, as a common one. Now we're jumping up to 50%. So you get an extra 10% health, especially as like a fire rage tank. That's going to make a massive difference. We have a new leg mod. So leg mods before were completely useless. All that did was just grant a small heal on most abilities that you didn't even use. You didn't need a leg slot socketed for a very long time. Now it just increases your weapon and ability critical chance by 2.5%. So that means every single player, I mean, if you care about your damage, I mean, this doesn't necessarily help a support role necessarily, unless you're like a battle support role. But pretty much every single DPS, it's 100% mandatory to have this now in your leg mod. So it ties back to the point where you just get one free, or we're going to have to pay for it in the broker, or it's going to pay $5 for the mods, just locking in all your gears. Ultimate, so hands mod, so increase your superpower. Using a superpower increases damage by 15% for 5 seconds. Before we had empowered channeling, depending on what power set you are, like say like fire, munitions, just so you didn't get interrupted. But in raids, you wouldn't have to worry about being interrupted. That's more just for a solo play. But before we had max damage. So max damage was a 2% increase. And now we go to a 15% for 5 seconds with a 120-second cooldown. So obviously, max damage just was a base calculation, didn't have a cooldown. Now this one has a cooldown. Once again, in my follow-up videos, I'll test the damage differences between them. But once again, you've got, and it's not even. It's tough to give like a proper reaction just to these because it's just more just initial shock. So now we have the ultimate Tumbling Mastery foot mod. So your dodge no longer is vulnerable to interrupt, which is the same as Tumbling Mastery. When performing a dodge, gain a shield based on 30% of your max health that blocks 75% of incoming damage for 12 seconds. So essentially what that does is it combined Tumbling Mastery, which was the acrobatic foot mod that everyone ran, just so your dodge wasn't vulnerable. And they combine that with the absorption adapter from your weapon. So there used to be weapon mod, especially if you're a tank, you'd use this. Weapon attacks have a chance to activate a shield, reducing damage by 75% until damage equal to 30% of your health. So essentially they just combined absorption adapter with the old weapon mod with the Tumbling Mastery. Same thing as they did, like combine Relentless Precision and Escalating Might. So basically they're making an ultimate by just combining multiple mods into one. And then the same thing. You may also tap the movement controls to cancel out your dodge into a combo. And then the main difference here is that you got the 30-second cooldown. So it'd be interesting to see if it's like Tumbling Master. If you go back to it, Tumbling Master itself doesn't have a cooldown. Your dodges would always be invulnerable. So we look at it here. So Tumbling Master, your dodge roll is no longer vulnerable to interrupt. You may also tap the movement controls to cancel your dodge into a combo. So the main difference here is that they've added a cooldown. So it depends on that cooldown is on the absorption adaptation shield. Because if we look, this effect may occur every 60 seconds on the absorption adapter. Now they've changed it to 30 seconds. So I don't necessarily want to slot it in right now, but it'd be interesting to see if your dodge roll, actually let me just put it in. Let's see this. So if we're going to roll around, There's obviously the shield proccing, same animation as absorption adapter. I just want to see once it's over if doesn't appear. Yeah, so it looks like the dodge roll still, I don't have a counter option on that. So it looks like it's just the shield itself that has the cooldown, which is fine. It's not that you're actually going to be vulnerable to interrupt on your dodge, outside of that cooldown. And same thing, cooldown procs again. So all the basically we just combine those two mods. So certainly the initial reaction here is that anytime that any kind of game system that we're going to want upgrades now, like the same concept where obviously we need a power set revamp, and the way they're treating that power set revamp is to give us allies, like power set allies that specifically increase a certain aspect of that power set. Like say we get like a quantum ally that is going to remove the cap on time bomb. So they're not going to give us basically a free quality of life upgrade. We're going to be paying for any kind of quality of life upgrades going forward. Obviously the tactical mod system needed a complete upgrade. But now the tactical mods itself didn't get an upgrade. They just introduced these new ultimate mods. So the previous mods don't change at all. It's still the same system. Now, if they want, now they're treating basically a game upgrade as something that we pay for. So especially since we need multiple mods, like we would, you'd have to, as we gear up, basically you would have to choose just to take the normal mods in your purple gear, blue gear, green gear, whatever your regular gear, and then wait for your best gear and then slot them in, or eventually pay for the recovery kit, which will probably release. But it's a system where some of these are like basically mini artifacts. I'll know more obviously in the follow-up video, but just the initial reaction here is there's a massive increase in damage potential with these ultimate mods compared to basically what we had before. So we're looking at a massive DPS jump essentially by paying $5 or paying someone else paying $5 and then you're buying another broker. But I'm sure the broker prices will be pretty inflated for a while. And they're basically across platforms. That means PC players have to have other PC players buy it. Obviously, the PS community would be a lot larger than the PC. But I don't think this will be surprising to anyone. I really don't think anyone's surprised that they're going to come out with continually new monetized systems to basically, keep that revenue stream going. So, like we have artifacts, we have allies. Obviously, we're not seeing a double artifact XP anymore. The allies don't even have a double fortify, and you can't fortify allies into other. Now we've got these ultimate mods, so it's basically, and all the new currency like Outsiders Ops and everything, where you can buy currency or buy the coins. So I think we're approaching where every game system that you can think of will be monetized going forward, or any upgrades to the game for quality of life will be monetized going forward. I think that's just the reality that we have to accept. So this is just my initial preview. My next video, I still have the Wonder Woman ally video coming out, but I will be doing in-depth testing on each one of these mods to kind of compare what we had previously to what the increase is now. So we can carry on this conversation in the comment section. Thank you guys, and we'll see you next video.